Hey there, Catherine here. Welcome back to the Productpreneur Success podcast. It's fantastic to have you here. And I'm really excited about today's episode. So when this episode comes out, it'll be August. And I had this little interaction with my eldest son yesterday that kind of prompted me a little bit to share this episode. So Aiden is my eldest, and he asked me this question yesterday, which I'm sure is a familiar one to any of us, any of you who is striving towards a really big goal. And I think, as you all know, my kids are all swimmers. Aiden probably takes it more seriously, I think, than the other two. His goal is pretty huge. He wants to make it to the Olympics. So no small goal there at all. But he's not the champion swimmer at the moment who is out there winning every race at every meet. I mean, he wins some, but he's certainly not, the guy on the podium all the time. There's always one or two kind of standout swimmers at a young age that kind of win everything. And really, if anything, he has to work harder at it than my other two kids. And he's okay with that. He always says that he might not win on talent, but he will happily outwork everyone else. And he's also fairly analytical. I think, he's quite strategic about his approach. He's always getting me to video his races, and, then he watches himself back and kind of analyzes each part of his race. So he's really looking for his weak spots. He's not just after an ego trip there. He's looking for his weak spots, and then he takes ideas to his coach and tries to work out how to master them and get better. Anyway, back to his question yesterday. He asked me, Mum, have you ever experienced feeling as though you are just not progressing, or he might have said not progressing fast enough or something like that? So hands up, who of you feel a little bit like that sometimes when it comes to growing your business or, growing your sales in your online store? I know that I've been there. And, maybe this year, some of you have seen month-to-month sales plateau or even go backwards at times. And to be honest, that's actually really normal. We all typically will have ups and downs, in your sales cycle. And there are also sometimes going to be external factors that we can't always control that will influence our results. But that being said, though, if if this is happening in your business and you are feeling a bit like it's not happening enough, or that, things should be better, should you just accept the way things are? And typically, when things aren't going to plan or not to plan as fast as you would like, there are three ways that I see people commonly react. And the first would be that they pull the reins in, they stop investing time or money on, I guess in business, it's on marketing or advertising, because those are the things that, help us to grow. And they'll literally kind of bunker down and just really wait for it to all pass. Or the second common reaction is that, they keep doing what they've always done and just accept that maybe the results aren't what they want them to be or what they maybe were in the past. Or three, they might look to find new and different ways to grow their business. And really, there's only one of those three reactions that's actually going to shift the needle in a positive way in your business. Personally, I'm never happy to just accept what comes my way. I always want to have, new and creative ideas to help keep growing, And to be honest, I'm like that in most areas of my life, not just in business, which probably drives my hubby nuts sometimes. But anyway, I think it is unfortunate that all businesses do go through periods of time when their sales slow down or they decline. And I totally know what that's like. I know in my first business, sometimes there were just times of the year that sales would always be a little bit down. So for me in that business, it was always February and school holidays. I don't know why. There was just rarely much that I could do that would massively shift the needle. I could always get better than those times last year, year on year. It would get better, but it would never be as big as the bigger months in the year. And then other times sales might dip because I'd run out of the most popular products, for instance, or, sometimes it could just be that times are really tough. Some of you know that I grew my business through the 2008 global financial crisis. So things were pretty tough in business for a few years there, but that doesn't mean that challenging times mean you can't grow. It just means you have to get a little bit clever, a little bit innovative, and maybe sometimes a bit scrappy. And, if the journey from the start line to success was a smooth upwards line, we would all be doing it, right? Everyone would be doing it. They're not. So we just can't expect that that's going to be a smooth journey without some bumps along the way. So anyway, here's what we're going to do in today's episode. I'm going to be sharing 7 different strategies that you can employ that are free or low cost to help you promote your online store and generate more revenue in your business. So sound good? I'm looking forward to diving in. So I think everyone should be able to implement all 7 of these strategies. Before we dive in though, I have a quick message that I just would like to share with you.
Now, if you love this episode and you feel a little inspired or motivated to implement some of the ideas or strategies into your own e-commerce business, but you know you'll need a little bit of deeper support with your marketing or the implementation, my team and I would love to help you. We help our clients to launch, scale, and grow their brands faster than ever, find hidden leaks or new opportunities in their e-commerce traffic and sales process, explore new creative marketing strategies, and help their businesses explode and become more lucrative than they ever dreamed possible. To find out more, just head over to Productpreneur Marketing. You can schedule your free e-commerce strategy session with us today, and you can discover how we can help you take your marketing and your brand to the next level, no matter where you're at today.
Alrighty then, let's dive into the episode and get you ready to go with some of these free and low-cost marketing strategies to really boost your e-commerce sales. And the first thing is to optimize your most popular product pages for SEO, search engine optimization. So when it comes to free marketing strategies, you really can't go past SEO. In a nutshell, this is about making some simple tweaks to your website content to just make it more attractive to Google so that you get more free organic search traffic to your website. So earlier this year, I actually did 2 podcast episodes with Karen, who is the wonderful SEO queen from my agency team. She shared some absolute gold in terms of some quick SEO wins, as well as how to come up with a 12-month content plan. So if you do want to go back and look those episodes up, they're episodes 110 and 113. So you can go to katherinelangman.com/episode -110, 110, or episode -113 for 113. But sometimes I know that it can feel a little bit overwhelming about where to start and how to get the fastest return on effort, ROE. I love that metric. So here's my suggestion. If you really need to be selling more product right now, start with optimizing your most popular product pages. So there are actually 2 parts to this though. I don't want you to just focus on the SEO side. Of course, you do want to start optimizing the SEO side. So for this, first of all, you want to work out which product pages or page that you want to work on. So if you don't know what products are your highest converting, dive into your Shopify analytics and see what you sell the most of. And you can also look into Google Analytics at the landing pages section and find which are your highest converting product pages. So then you want to work out what keywords you want to optimize that page or those pages for. What terms have the highest search volume, but also have some possibility for success. For instance, you don't want to go for a term that is so huge and generic that it has like a gazillion searches per month and an insanely high level of competition. Really high level keywords might fall into this category. For instance, I wouldn't try and optimize for something like, say, swimwear, because it would be virtually impossible to rank for that. And to be honest, it's so broad in terms of who the customer might be that you're just not likely to attract the right person. So you want to be a little bit more specific than that. So what you really need to do is use a tool like Ubersuggest or SEMrush and just really work out what search terms are best for your most popular product pages. And then you want to go back and listen to those episodes with Karen and follow her instructions for what tweaks and changes you can make to things like image file names and product titles and meta descriptions and so on, making sure that you've got the right words in the heading 1 text and so on, so that your product page just becomes a lot more visible and attractive to Google. Now, the second part of optimizing your product page is this. You want to optimize it for conversions as well. And this is not the same thing as optimizing for SEO. So really here, what you want to do is make sure that your product pages have the right information and layout, and also that they're really user-friendly on mobile in particular, in order to increase the conversion rate on those pages, even down to having the right payment options, okay? So for instance, you want to make sure that the hero image is a really nice, attractive styled product shot, cropped square preferably, and then you want to have a handful of alternative product views in that image grid. Please try and crop them the same so it doesn't look all higgledy-piggledy in different sizes and dimensions, because that just does not look professional. And secondly, you want to look at things like the product name, short description, price, any variants if you have them, and then the add to cart buttons as well. They all need to be really easily visible at the top of the page without really scrolling. You don't want to make people have to work too hard or burn too many calories in their brain trying to figure out how to get this thing right. So then you want to have some tabs underneath the add to cart button so that all the other relevant information is really easy to read. You don't want to have, you don't want to make people scroll. It's really hard to read long blocks of text online, particularly if you are on a mobile phone. It's just really, really hard to read. So break it up into tabs under the add to cart button. You might have a detailed product description or some product specifications. You might have some how to use information or a video there. You might have shipping and delivery information. Also, if you have any really common perceived risks or barriers to entry, when it comes to buying your products, you'll also need to find a way to overcome those here as well. So for me, when I had my modern cloth nappy brand, we offered a money-back guarantee. For many clothing brands, a will this fit me tab, really just making sure that the size charts and the information like that, is really accessible and helpful. So then you want to have your social proof below that. So this is, your customer reviews. So once you've done all of this, by optimizing for SEO, you're going to get more free traffic to your best seller product pages. And then by optimizing for conversions, you will convert more of those visits into paying customers, which is a win-win. All right, so that's number one. Number two, I want to suggest that you create a sales landing page for your most popular collections and bundles or bundle. Again, I'm not suggesting that you go crazy and just try and overhaul your entire website. Just be super selective and specific about which product page or collection page or bundle page that you start with, okay? And so this is in a similar vein to optimizing the product pages, but looking at the bundle or collection level here. So again, the view is to get more free organic search traffic, but it's also about increasing conversion rates and also increasing your average order value, which is pretty cool, right? Any of you who have used my Magic Metrics calculator tool to work out which things will actually help you grow, which metrics, improving which metrics will help you grow, should know average order value and conversion rate are two, in addition to traffic, that are going to really shift the needle for you. So here, you want to start by working out which collection is your biggest seller, and same with your bundles. If you are not selling bundles and you have any opportunity at all to sell more than one of your item at once, you ought to create a bundle. It is a really effective way to increase your average order value. It's also a really effective way for customers to figure out what to buy. So for instance, rather than making people try and add to cart lots of different products from different collections on your website to get everything they need, put it together in one bundle. It makes it really easy. Then customers don't have to think about it, and they'll love you for it as well. Anyway, so then you want to do that same kind of keyword research in a similar way to what we were talking about just before. And then optimizing the page for SEO, it's going to follow a similar process as well. So again, you can refer back to Karen's SEO episodes for those instructions. To optimize these landing pages for sales conversions, though, you really need to think of these as almost a mini homepage in terms of the content and layout. So there's a format that you can keep in mind here. It's an acronym, AIDSA. It used to be AIDA. Back when I was first going through university, but now we've added an extra S into the middle. So it stands for attention, interest, desire, social proof, action. And so that's the kind of content format that we want to follow. So we want an eye-catching hero image to capture people's attention really quickly. Then we need a really catchy headline that hooks their interest in. With the image and headline, think about the benefits and the end result that customers really want to experience and find a way to hook into that with your headline. To increase desire, you need a short description under that headline that really gets your customers salivating. So I'm going to give you an example for a made-up herbal sleep remedy. Okay, so the headline could be a better night's sleep. The subheading could be 91% of customers report lower stress levels and deeper sleep. Amazing, I'm there already. Then the short description could be something like, turn off racing thoughts and middle of the night stress outs, experience deeply restorative sleep instead. And who doesn't want that, right? But then you need to tell people how to get it. So then you want to have a call to action button. So it could be shop now, or it could be shop sleep solution. Particularly if you're sending them to a bundle, you'd say shop sleep solution or something like that. So then moving further down, you need to have a little bit of social proof. So for a really high converting landing page, the ultimate is probably going to be having a really great customer testimonial video here. A testimonial normally would go through, here's what I was struggling with before, tried all of these things. Then I tried this brand. Here's what I experienced. It was amazing, and I would absolutely recommend it. So that's it in a nutshell, the story arc. All right. But short of that, include some really great written testimonials, preferably with some images as well. Try and make it look aesthetically pleasing. Don't just have text and a shot there. Get a designer to help you make it look nice. And then, of course, you want to show your products some more as well. So this is where you would have the add to cart section so that people can shop directly from this page. Preferably, you can have a one-click add to cart for the whole bundle. But other than that, if it's a collection page, have all of the products there. Then, if you need to, you can go into a little bit of detail. So, of course, this depends on what you sell. But if there's some specific how-to information or some particular info about your products or components or ingredients or whatever that help customers to really feel confident about making a purchase decision, you can add that in here too. I like to use a bit of a 2-column format with short text snippets. So it might be like a catchy subtitle and then, 1 or 2 short paragraphs of text on one side and then an image on the other. Just kind of breaks it up and makes it easier to read online. And I guess to round it off, you might have some benefit icons that you want to highlight, which I'd include towards the bottom of the page as well. So hopefully that kind of helps you tackle that one. The third strategy is to add an upsell or cross-sell app to your website. Now, my very first job as a teenager was at Macca's in the drive-thru. Of course, I'm sure it's not any different now, but at the time we were all trained on sales tactics like upselling from the regular size to the large size, as well as the memorable line, "Would you like fries with that?" which is a cross-sell. So these are strategies that I've described in a recent podcast where I don't know if you've listened to the one where I broke down True Protein's really successful end of financial year sale. If you haven't listened to that one, it's a great episode that'll, give you some inspiration for future promotions. You can find that at katherinelangman.com/episode-129. So why do we want to be cross-selling and upselling? And at the end of the day, these are both ways that you can increase your average order value. And again, if you've ever had a play with my Magic Metrics calculator tool, you will know that an increased average order value where you're making more money per transaction, you're going to make more money per visitor to your website as well. So it's a really important strategy to try and get into place, right? So basically, you're either trying to get the customer to buy more of the same, or you are offering something else that is complementary and that many people might use together or purchase together. So why would people want to buy more of the same? It does depend on what you sell, right? So if it's a consumable, then you might have a really good chance of selling more of the same. So I know True Protein do this when you just check out with a regular purchase. They'll usually offer a discount to add an extra packet to your order. Or they'll offer something that's like a cross-sell where most people would use both products together for that, if that makes sense. So, you know, it's pretty simple to get into place. Basically, you're going to be making more money per transaction, which is great. And you know, you might find ways that you can do both, or you might find that you know, one is going to suit you better than another. So for instance, in the cloth nappy industry, we did bundles where people were buying multiple nappies per transaction. So an upsell would have worked quite well. But likewise, so would a cross-sell have worked quite well, because we had a whole lot of complementary products and accessories and things like that. I think, you know, with things like clothing and fashion accessories and those sorts of things, probably the cross-sell is going to be the way to go. So have a think about what's going to make sense for your sort of product and the way your customers buy. And then it's pretty simple to put it into practice. You just need an app on your website. So if you're on Shopify, something like Reconvert or Bold Upsell. All right, fourth strategy is to segment your email list. Now, it should come as no surprise to any of you who have listened to my podcast for some time or worked with me as a client or in any of my programs. When it comes to the most effective, you know, in terms of results as well as cost-effective marketing strategies around, you really can't go past email, and that is, yes, even now in 2022. So I'm going to give you 3 types of emails that you can get out to your audience fairly quickly and be pretty confident that you will make some money. First one is to create a segment of lapsed customers. So lapsed customers are people who bought some time ago and they haven't been back. All right. So you'll need to have a little bit of an inkling around how frequently your customers might typically buy before you can come up with the time frame that you need to look at for lapsed customers. So for instance, if you're selling birthday cakes, then once a year might be normal. But if you are selling protein shakes, then monthly is probably more likely. So then you want to come up, so you want to create that segment of people who have bought at least once, but not in the last however many months that you're looking at before somebody would be classified as a lapsed customer. Then you want to come up with the best offer that you can do on something that your customers usually love. And this is going to be called a re-engagement campaign. Now, you don't just send out the offer and leave it at that, though. So you want to think of this as literally reintroducing yourself, your brand, to someone who may have forgotten about you. So that means, you know, introducing the brand and your brand promise, sharing the amazing offer and how they can get it. What benefits would the customer look forward to? You know, what are they going to enjoy about it? You know, what end results are they going to experience from using it? So find ways of really sharing that story again with them. Then you might also share some social proof. And then also, I definitely recommend an expiry on the offer, so there is a bit of scarcity. There is nothing like a little bit of fear of missing out to get people over the line at the last minute. Now, you don't put all of that in one email. I would be spreading this information across 3 emails, perhaps sent over a week. And I always like to make sure that if people buy from the first email, then they don't keep receiving the subsequent emails when you're doing a sequence like this. Second segment, so you can create a segment of one-time customers over, say, a recent period, maybe in the last 3 months, but you know, again, you're going to need to have some idea of how frequently customers normally shop. So if I'll give it a suggestion, something in between my last 2 suggestions, say you sell skincare that maybe normally is replenished every 3 months. So I would create a segment of customers who bought once within the last 2 to 6 months. So not more recently than 2 months, you know, between 2 and 6 months ago. So then have a think about cross-selling and upselling strategies that we talked about for your website. You know, you can do the same again in email as well. And I would treat this also as a 3-part email sequence, or at least 2 emails. 3 is better though, you know, so you want to have that enticing offer that's really designed to attract that one-time customer back for a repeat purchase. You know, when we can turn a one-time buyer into a repeat buyer, we are becoming a more profitable business. So the more that you can get into the habit of doing this over time, the more profitable that your business is going to be. So you want to use the same sort of content strategies in those 3 emails that I just described. So introduce the offer, showcase the benefits, showcase some social proof, reiterate the offer in the second email as well, and then emphasize scarcity in the 3rd email. Again, that FOMO typically always works. All right. Third segment is you can create a segment of your most frequent or high value customers. So most frequent, obviously they're buying often. High value customers, they may not buy super often, but they spend a lot of money when they do buy. So over, say, a 12-month period, you want to find the customers who have spent the most money with you. So these are your best customers. So you really do want to make sure you love on them from time to time. I would recommend sending them something like a VIP gift coupon. But again, you might be able to come up with something that's just, a little bit extra special just for them. And again, don't just send one email. It's, you'll leave a lot on the table if you only ever send one email. So try and stick to that 3 email sequence, anytime you're going out to your list with something new, that is. All right, number 5 is a fast list building strategy. Because the email marketing strategies still do have the highest ROI of any marketing channel, it should go without saying that you want to keep focusing on growing that email list as efficiently as possible. And of course, having strategies in place to convert them into buyers is also part of this. Now, one tactic that's working super well right now is the spinning wheel type app, subscription builder app. So the one that we've been using recently is called Wheelio. I'm sure there are others as well. In fact, there's another app we're testing that shifts the spinning wheel to your social media page, and that's called Convo.bot. So it's a similar sort of strategy. But anyway, yes, I know these sorts of spinning wheel things can be executed in a really tacky way. I don't want you to do it like that. It can also be done in a really attractive value-add way that doesn't cheapen your brand at all. So, for example, you can really change the aesthetics of it. You can change it so that it looks on brand, but you can also change up the incentives so that they're not all discounts, all right? So we've got this in place with a few clients and have really seen their list growth absolutely explode at more than 4 times their usual rate. So the conversion rate of visitor can't get my words out. The conversion rate of visitor to subscriber increases rapidly. But not only that, the conversion rate from subscriber to buyer appears to increase as well. And I think part of this requires, making sure that your automated new subscriber email flow is really on point. You really want to make sure that the emails that are going to these new subscribers are going to be opened and clicked on and lead to purchases, right? So you want to make sure that you look at those email stats in your automated flows and really make sure that those emails are converting. But the other reason I think that, that leads to the success of a tactic like Wheelio, I think it comes down to the gamified nature of the app. The customer is interacting with the app, they're playing the game. And this is kind of tactical and fun. And I think that seems to really increase conversions as well. It seems like, we're a little bit more invested in it, perhaps. I don't know, but it is pretty cool. So that's the 5th one. Number 6 is to run a social media giveaway. Now, I almost wasn't going to include this strategy in this episode because I do see far too many people doing giveaways, usually on Instagram, and they do it with very little strategic forethought. Usually I see brands doing a giveaway just in return for people following them on Instagram, maybe a like or a comment or a share on the giveaway. And yes, this sort of promo might give you a boost in engagement and maybe a few followers as well, but those are kind of vanity metrics. They're a little bit useful, but if that's all you'll get, then, you're not really getting much return on effort. What you really want to do is to run a giveaway in a way that really does build your email list as well, preferably with potential customers who are somewhat engaged with your brand and have fallen in love with your products, at least a little bit, right? So this is a distinction from what I call free pull, who just sign up to win some free shit and don't really care what it is. People like that typically aren't your ideal customers, so you don't really want them following you or signing up to your email list anyway, and they're probably never going to buy from you. So the idea with a giveaway done well is that you get the social engagement for sure, but you also require them to go through a little bit of effort. You want them to be maybe on your website or checking out your products in your store, and you want them falling in love with them, and you want them to tell you what they love about it usually. So that, ultimately, when they don't win, they'll be receptive to a really great offer and they'll buy it anyway. So that means, of course, that you are sending out some emails after the giveaway has ended and drumming up some sales that way. Now, I'm not going to give you the full strategy here. This episode is already going to be long enough. I did do a podcast quite a while back on this strategy, but it's still super relevant and useful right now. It's very step-by-step. You can find that one at katherinelangman.com/episode-17. And you can also get some extra oomph into a giveaway using a gamification tool like convo.bot that I mentioned before, or by collaborating, say, with another brand or with another influencer to help spread the word. So there's a few ways that you can, really get that one going. All right, up to the lucky last, number 7, video. So last but not least, and perhaps I should have put this first, I'm not sure. Right now, video is queen when it comes to content. Video content is getting the most reach, engagement, and conversions by a very, very long shot. And I know that creating video can feel really challenging, especially if you're an introvert like me. But hey, look at me now. I'm creating video content all the time now because the reason I do what I do, my impact goal, is far more motivating to me than my fear of making a fool of myself on video. Trust me, I still have all of the fears about me being on video that probably many of you too do as well. But I just create and then, try not to look at it again. Certainly try not to listen to it again. But anyway, that being said, jumping on live video, whether it's, Instagram or another platform, is not the only type of video that you can produce. You can do product demos. You can collect unboxing videos, testimonial videos as well from your customers. You could reach out to industry experts or content creators in your niche. You can even create animated GIFs. We love doing this, using still images and little illustrations and turn it into a GIF. I'd say that the product demos, so whether you create your own or any product demos created by customers or content creators, along with any other sort of user-generated content from your customers, those are currently the most influential that we are seeing great results from. So to super quickly help make it easier for you to jump on video and shoot one yourself, perhaps you demoing your product, here's a little bit of a loose script format for you to follow. So you want to begin by answering 2 questions with a really short story. Story is always going to be a lot more memorable and engaging. So I always try and build a little bit of story in. So you want to start by describing your customer's average day, right? So that the potential customer is going to feel that it's relevant to them and their experience. And then describe how your product changes their average day. So for example, this is one that I wrote a little while ago, and I'll just share it as an example now. I think I can guess how you're feeling right now. Your baby is fussy and only sleeps if you're walking around and holding him. You're absolutely exhausted, running on empty, and you're feeling very anxious that something is wrong with your baby. Imagine if a simple change to your baby's nursery setup could provide the same soothing effect as you cradling him. Imagine if he could confidently settle and sleep all on his own. Imagine how you would feel knowing your baby was happy, calm, and settled. So that's kind of that, short 2-paragraph story arc, right? And then you need to tell your watchers, your viewers, what action you want them to take next, and write it in a short call to action, or state it in a short call to action that begins with click here too. So it's not that hard. Hopefully that makes it easier and just really actionable for you. Alrighty then, that was a bit of a mammoth episode today. I would love to hear from you. Send me a DM at Kath Langman on Instagram or Facebook, or of course you can jump into my Rockstar Facebook group. Tell me which of these is your favorite, and I'd love to know which ones you will implement this month as well. So hopefully at least one of them captures your imagination and gets action into your business straight away. As always, whenever you work on some new marketing strategies in your business, you need to keep track of your results. And by keep track of, I mean write them down. You want to track whether your metrics like unique visitors, conversion rate, and average order value go up, down, or stay the same. Ideally, they all go up, of course. But anyway, let me know what you think. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, I'd absolutely love it if you would share it with one or two of your business besties, especially if you know that they are looking to grow their e-commerce business this year. It is super easy to share. Just click on the icon next to the podcast on whichever platform that you listen to it on, copy the share link, and then it's just super easy to message it to your friends. Now, lastly, if you are keen for some more in-depth support with this stuff, please just give us a shout. I offer courses, coaching, and done-for-you services to suit every stage in business, whether you need help to learn and implement these things or you just like to outsource to our team. So if you're curious, head over to productpreneurmarketing.com and you can book in for a free strategy session. So that's it for today, guys. I look forward to being with you again next week on the show. Bye for now.